is on his last life. If he does not win this match, that's it. Hikaru Nakamura is the American Cup champion.
And E4, and when we looked at those matchups prior to the start, we saw that in classical chess, they're very, very even. In rapid chess, they have a very, very even ELO rating, if you will. But in Blitz chess, then it's 19. Wesley's number 19 in the world. Hikaru's number 2, just behind Magnus.
By the way, no more Kalashnikov Sicilian from Hikaru.
No, he played E5 instantly. By the way, I'm thinking this is the format that Wesley's got to score. I don't like his chances if they get into that 3 and 2. So, I mean, Wesley, with the white pieces to start this playoff, I think he really needs to put the pressure on and hope to score.
He needs a win, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, no, absolutely. I tend to agree with you. It just feels like in Blitz, Hikaru is untouchable in this event.
Yeah,
Bishop E6, encouraging F4.
Right, but I just wanted to mention that there is a game in the database with Fabiano Caruana playing against Wesley So with the black pieces.
Really?
And that game ended in a draw. No,
in a win for
Fabiano.
White.
With Bishop E6. H?
They're still following that same game. And Fabiano played the move King to H1 in that game.
That's what I was expecting. King H1, prepping F4.
Knight to C4, a novelty.
C4.
Nice wrinkle by Wesley. By the way, the best move according to the engines.
Inviting Bishop takes C4. No. Hikaru says, no way, I'm not going to give up the 2 bishops. But by giving up this diagonal, I don't have to play the tempo losing King H1 to get in F4. I can get it in right away, which is exactly what Wesley has done. Now he takes on C4, does Hikaru.
And it doesn't look like Hikaru's been surprised at all because he just keeps blitzing
plays
out the moves at tempo, right?
Exactly. Wow.
Well, the thing is...
Whoa. C5?
C5. Okay, what if I take that?
Bishop takes. And
Queen takes. I just had this alert ski. I've got E6 and Bishop G6 on my agenda.
Okay, then I have to be a bit more careful. After C5, I will go long castle.
Okay. Well,
hang on a second.
Exactly. So suddenly I got Jovi getting excited too. Possible.
But you're not threatening anything, right?
Because Bishop C5 check.
I think I am threatening something with Bishop F5 check.
Okay, can I go Knight D5?
Yep.
Yes, you can. Knight D5.
Oh no, Knight D5 I cannot go.
Shall I explain to Christian what he might have missed? No. Just saying, what we have in this moment, let me just refresh. I saw the move C5 with this idea of Bishop to G6, going E5, E6. And I suddenly got excited that C5 might be a break. By the way, if I don't play C5, I'm a little bit afraid the knight will take up residence on E5 and black will be perfectly safe.
Maybe that's actually what's going to happen after C5.
Say I get knight E7 anyway? Well, I do have rook D1 in that case, right? Yeah. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah. And then I was just thinking maybe knight. But okay, I think the king definitely has to go to safety.
Okay.
Castles makes a lot of sense.
Doesn't it? And away we go.
Can I just retreat?
But what's wrong with Bishop C5 check?
Oh, nothing. No, absolutely.
And then after King H1, you just put your knight on D5, or then I was gonna go King B8.
Fair.
That's the problem. I don't like the fact that I don't have this escape route with King B8, King A8.
Knight C7. Or are you gonna give?
Well, I'm
vulnerable. I'm getting vulnerable.
I'm gonna focus everything
Yeah, okay.
on the F7.
This is going horribly wrong.
Right.
No, This is not good. And,
So maybe c5 is an opportunity. What do you think, Christian?
He certainly has to. Well, he doesn't have to, but it's a good idea to play for sure.
Yeah.
It's an opportunity, but after c5, it seems like castle is indeed the best move, and just the lines that we were discussing. White has a slight edge, but it's not decisive by any means.
Oh, no. I wasn't thinking it was either. I was just afraid that if black gets knight d7, knight e5,
It's a way to continue the pressure. It's a way to continue the pressure, not allow knight to d7, knight to e5, because strategically, if that happens for a black, that's going to be very good news.
And
don't allow that. Play c5, get rid of the double pawns, and play with the two bishops, and some initiative as well on the e file, due to the fact that you have the light square bishop on the board. It's looking good for white after c5.
Right.
What I find Wesley to be a remarkably good player, just really, really, really good.
By the way,
but at
rook
certain
d1 was played.
moments, he tends to mismanage his clock. He goes into these like 2-minute things during a 10-minute game, or a minute and a half thing during a 5-minute game, and he ends up being seriously behind in Hikaru at key moments when he could use the extra 20 or 30 seconds.
Right.
He did not play c5, and I find that a surprise. He did play the move rook a d1 instead. Hikaru said, well, okay, if you're not playing to attack me, I'll castle and I'll bring my knight to e5.
maybe you can still do the c5,
C5, you think?
anyhow, because you can always follow that up with e5.
Oh, but I'm not getting the tempo against the bishop that I was getting last time. So if I do it now, it's not as punchy.
You do have knight to e5.
Yeah, I don't feel like it. I'm not getting as much bang for my pawn as I wanted. Could he be thinking of b4, c5, b5? It's a very
consideration.
slow.
I mean, you have to do something like that because the kings are on opposite sides of the board.
Sure.
And
It's a slow.
E8. King h1 was played, rook to e8. It just feels like Wesley's playing a bit slow, right?
Rook a8 to e8. Could he be thinking
Rook
no,
e1.
This is way too slow. Bishop to g3 to
Rook
h1.
fe1 was played.
Rook fe1.
And bear in mind that the best Wesley can do in this match is to win it and take it to playoffs tomorrow.
Right,
Whereas
because
Hikaru just needs
has
to
2
win
lives.
this,
Yep.
and that's it. He
Yeah.
is the champion.
Exactly.
By the way, right now Wesley has 5 minutes and 30 seconds against 9 minutes. Hikaru almost doubles him on the clock right now. It's not looking good. From a practical perspective, Wesley Soul right now is in a pickle. And to be honest, what I would do as Wesley, I would take the practical approach, try to pull the brakes. Pull the brakes, find the simplification, find the draw.
Really? I feel like
5 minutes in a 10-minute game. I mean, that's such a huge advantage.
I want to play with the two bishops. There is a backward pawn on the board. I do, like, if you go knight d7, I do have these ideas of queen g3 and bishop takes d6, the old double attack. And I do have in the back of my mind b4, b5.
Yeah.
It's not that easy for black to break open the king side.
Talking
G5.
about direct action,
Wow.
Hikaru strikes first. And now the bishop drops back to g3. And now, you have a new target, right? The rook can move to f1, or maybe the other rook can lift up.
I definitely agree with that. Also, by the way, bishop g3, good move. Maybe also something to be
knight
said.
d7.
Knight d7. In any case, I was going to reset my pieces to focus on the f7 pawn with moves like queen h5 and rook f1. Just saying that bishop g3, yes, that's like kind of the automatic blitz move. Little consideration, and I can understand why you might want to play. Like, for example, if I play bishop e3, Jovi, and you go knight here, and I go something like, I don't know, just throwing it out there, c5. And I'm trying to mix it up, right, by weakening your king. You can see why the bishop might have a role on the G1 diagonal. Bishop G3.
And Hikaru,
H5.
oh, having said
What?
Peter, you have to say Paul.
Okay, he's going for something, but
I like it.
I do
You like it?
Yeah,
I like
I'm a
it.
big fan of this because
No.
H4, the queen can,
really?
you can get
It's
open.
caveman. It's coffee house.
Yes, that's why I like it.
That-
That's my style.
coffee house. Okay. Wow.
Coffee house, but he's putting once again pressure on his opponent's clock. He's playing practical chess. The Kalashnikov Sicilian is sort of coffee house as
Right.
well, right? I mean, it's not seen at the elite level. Just play it and put pressure on your opponent's clock. How do you defend against H4? Do you go H3 yourself?
Well, why is it a threat?
Okay.
Let's say I go B4. Move that.
H4.
I'm
Let's
coming
go.
forward.
Let's
H4.
go.
Yes.
Yes.
Bishop back.
And then I would be tempted to go one step forward.
Queen F5. Whoa.
Well, I was hoping you would play G4, so I would play like Queen E3 with the intention, of course, that Bishop takes H4. He didn't play that. He said one of the best ways to avoid a pawn storm is to get out of the way of the pawns. Anticipating that H4 and G4 would come with tempo, Wesley played his Queen to F5, and that makes perfect sense, right?
It does make perfect sense. But okay, Hikaru thinking. So he has a choice. He can go knight D7, knight
Yes.
to E5.
Right.
That would be my vibe,
Right.
Because at heart I'm a chicken, yeah.
Right. Yes, at heart we're all chicken. We want a solid, and he's played H4, and
Okay.
whoa! Now this is really Kalashnikov. This is
I'm starting to see some knight G3 ideas.
well. Wait a minute. I've got C5 as a possibility. I really like attacking this pawn on F7, and guess what? That knight G3 possibility, Wesley said, let me sidestep that. King G1, inviting Bishop B6, by the way. Denying white the two bishops makes a lot of sense.
I like it. I really like this move. Knight H5, King G1.
I'm not sure about King G1.
I'm feeling like Hikaru is taking over. I'm not gonna lie to you guys.
Yeah. It feels like a few mistimed moves has given an early initiative, I want to say, to black.
Right, I also quite like the move F6.
F6.
Just to jump in with the knight to F4.
Okay.
One question.
Please.
Can you get ultra aggressive and try to go for some D5 lines?
What?
D5 and set up the
Walking
battery on the
into
long
a
battle.
tempo?
Yes.
Okay, so you want to say you would go for
I would
this.
love for you to take with the D pawn, yeah.
Right.
Because now I'm not sure how you defend your king side.
Yeah, Queen H3 is certainly no joy. I will
F6.
grant you that.
None of that.
My move.
F6, Jovi. We're
But
gonna.
I think
I'm
D5
gonna call
is
up
in the...
Chris Bird, the arbiter, and get you wanded and scanned. I
tell you
mean, it's fair commentary, you
But
know.
you know something? Quite a few years ago, this was when Hikaru had his reputation of being an extremely attacking player.
Yes.
He's kind of toned that down since. There was like this chess personality webpage, and I answered some chess questions, and it came, "You are Hikaru Nakamura, the barbarian."
Nice. B4, by the way, I would have probably played B4 without the move King G1 because I would not want to face Bishop C5, Bishop B6 because I'd have C5. We do have Knight F4 on the board.
Bishop D4,
Bishop
Rook F8,
D4,
and A4.
Rook A8, and A4.
A4 is on the board.
Okay.
But do you also sense...
I want to play A5 and A6. Let's go. Sorry, what
No,
am I
because
sensing?
what I'm sensing is that the queen doesn't have too many squares. So if I
On
could
F5?
somehow
Attack
break
the
it
queen.
open.
But it's on a light square, so the only thing you can really attack it with is the knight.
He
Yeah.
played Queen F7.
Give me the pawn. Okay, is it time? See,
Bishop B3.
No. is not time. Bishop
Not yet.
to b3. I thought it was time to undouble the pawns with c5.
And now Wesley is speeding up his play a little bit.
Yeah, well,
which
he
I
has
like.
to.
But how about Queen h5 now? With the idea of h3 and invasion on the light squares.
Clock times once again 6 minutes to 3 minutes.
3 minutes,
3.5
28
minutes.
seconds.
Queen h5 invasion on the light squares.
Why not?
It looks good. I think
H3,
white has to go like
D2.
rook d2 kind of ideas.
To defense,
To
yes.
defend, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, if I'm in white shoes and I'm aspiring to play c5, I'm kind of happy that the queen goes away because at the moment the queen is pinning the pawn. Queen h5, rook d2 to defend the light squares. That makes sense.
And perhaps ideas of h3 still in the position after that. Let's take it one move by move. Can we do that?
Sure. Queen h5, rook d2, h3, g3.
Now I can get ultra aggressive and try to go queen f3. The problem is you're not even going to look at that knight. You're going to go rook f1, rook f2.
Right.
Just drive you right out of dodge.
That's
Rook
problematic.
f1.
Maybe not rook f1 because I have knight e2.
Sorry, not rook f1 because
Oh, but you have bishop d1.
Okay, so he has played.
rook a8, e8. Sorry, let me just refresh my board. I apologize, everybody. It will only be a temporary. And immediately, Wesley had this a4, a5 conception from a long distance away. He's still looking at ideas of a6 as well as b5 and prying open the queen side. Now, you were saying that the queen doesn't have that many squares, so if we could get in c5 and rook e5 would be all
I think he's
all
going for
happy.
that.
Oh, by the
Knight
way,
e6.
now I see bishop e3 followed by queen f2. Remember when I was saying we could make this battery create a few weaknesses over on the king side? Pardon me, over on black. Ooh,
And Hikaru playing knight
Hikaru.
f4.
He did something wrong
Okay,
there.
but the rook is maybe coming to
Oh.
e5.
Bishop d4.
Sorry, it
Oh.
might be
Repetition.
a repetition. Knight e6.
Are we going to see a repetition in this early middle game?
I would be so. Excuse me. This was the position, right?
Yes.
Could he have played c5?
Knight takes d4.
Bishop takes. Sorry.
Take on f5, you take on e8.
Correct. I'm winning. I won an exchange.
You did, yes.
And my next turn is to take here as well. So maybe Wesley, when he played the move bishop e3, and Hikaru,
a6. Hikaru
I
refuses the
think
repetition.
Hikaru realized that knight e6 walked into c5 and didn't give him a second opportunity to play it.
a6, rook d2, king to a8. Tucking the king in.
a6, rook to d2, king to a8.
Now, any sort of battery on the long diagonal with a queen in front is going to be met by bishop to b8.
Bishop a2 sets c5, sets the stage for b5 as well.
Great move.
Queen e7, sidestepping the discovery. Is it time? c5. And of course, once again, to remind everybody, we're going to be playing the colors reversed regardless of the result, as somebody gets a chance for revenge. Bishop b. Why is Wesley hesitating playing the move c5?
Well, he doesn't want to open up any diagonals, especially with the clock situation, so why not just improve the position, maybe put the bishop on d1, come out to g4.
Because
Wait,
he played bishop
bide your
a8.
time.
Because he had played bishop a8 last turn. It seems like he's lost a little bit of the thread. Maybe both players realizing the position doesn't allow for favorable opening of the position.
Right. It's interesting how they're now putting their pieces on the protected squares.
Right. Protect your pieces at all times.
Said
Defend
what
at all times.
Nimzovich
I'm
has
not a
been
big
telling us.
I'm not a big fan of this rook on e1. I think I would put the rook on f1. He didn't. He
Rook
put
to
his rook
d1,
back.
bishop to b8.
Neither player really
Hang on a second.
finding.
Is it possible to kind of try to crack open
B5.
the line with b5?
Finally,
yeah,
we
it's
have something.
finally.
I've
I
been
wanted that.
waiting for these moves for some time. B5, C5, break open the queen side, for crying out loud.
Maybe well timed. And by the way,
Time?
Wesley is now up on time.
Remarkable. You don't see that. Well, a 3-minute advantage just dissipated. Hikaru.
Down to his last 2 minutes and 40 seconds.
Wow.
Definitely not enjoying this situation on the board.
Bishop B6, inviting a capture on C6. This bishop will find a life, and I'm talking a beautiful life
to look
on
good
A4.
for white,
Maybe
guys.
Bishop B6.
I quite like trading off the bishops, and then after trading off the B takes C6 and then C5.
But remember, all trades are you're at a market. Trade on your terms, Jovi. Take on C6 and play. And if you want to capture, undouble the pawns. He played Bishop A4. He didn't take on A6. He didn't take on C6. He's keeping the tension. Was that a good move?
I
love
like it.
You like it?
I mean, the rook has to defend the C6 points, or you have to consider A takes B5.
Which would open up
Which
more lines.
would come with a massive warning.
Right. Do not open.
The more I look at the position, the more I like it for Wesley.
Well, he's got happy moves, doesn't he? Bishop takes D4, a double, undoubling.
C
And
takes
we
B5,
did
C
see
takes
C
B5, and rook to
takes.
C8.
Uh-oh, Black's king is really getting pried open now.
Hikaru is looking for some counter chances on the C file.
And here we go. Takes. But C2 is covered,
Exactly.
which means we can go rook to B1 to B6 like a
True barbarian.
true barbarian. Thank you. Bringing,
By the way, does G3 work at any point? Just to get my queen involved into play.
Well,
Queen
he's played
D5.
rook B1 first,
Rook
but I
B1
agree with
first.
you.
I'm thinking
Christian.
this bishop is coming to the long diagonal like a magnet.
Ooh,
But it feels like no, seriously, guys, it feels very
it feels
comfortable advantage.
crushing right now.
Right? Rook B6.
I mean, you have
read that
everything
pawn?
you want as white and black doesn't have an attack. He's had that knight on F4 for 20 moves. Hasn't done anything with it.
Right. The knight's not going to win the game alone. And 1 minute 50, and Wesley
2 minutes and 30 seconds.
could be striking here. Rook B6 and Rook A6, that's a deadly threat.
I told you guys, Wesley outplayed Hikaru in both the rapid matches in their first match.
I
Rapid
agree with
games.
you both, but don't write off Hikaru.
Not yet.
because He's one of the world's best defenders.
Truly.
Never.
And
never.
he has played the move Rook B6, inviting Bishop C6 check, putting that bishop on that diagonal. Now I like your G3 very much in order to release the queen.
And rook to B6.
Rook B6. Wow, how he didn't play Bishop C6 is a mystery to me. Because he could have put his rook on, he could have gone Bishop C6 and Rook B6 both.
Yeah, it felt like
King to
clo-
B8.
Rook
playing
B6,
rook B6 is maybe
A B6.
wrong.
Okay, well, he does have ideas. Queen A. Oh no, not knight.
Is-
Don't
And he
allow
has-
knight E2.
Is the trend reversing, guys? Because you're going to take my A6 pawn, but... Well, maybe you're not even going to take my A6 pawn. Queen
Well,
B7.
Queen-
Let's defend.
I just don't want to blunder my rook.
So let's go Queen B7. Let's defend.
Queen, Queen B7 invites D5 and Bishop C6.
Ooh, that's unpleasant.
Well,
Whoa,
we're going to
he's
see
played
it,
it.
yes, sir.
D5 looks boss.
He's perhaps looking at something, but what?
D5 and Bishop C6 is just overwhelming.
It looks great for white right now.
Oh, come on.
Are you going to sacrifice the exchange with rook to C8? But that must be losing.
Absolutely, because A6 will be hanging. Queen takes A6. So D5 and Bishop C6
I think
plays itself.
He missed D5.
D5, C6, but
And Wesley doesn't
Bishop
pick it.
D1. That's not
he's
the right
missed
solution.
it. He missed. That's hard to believe. D5 and Bishop C6 was just so-
Overwhelming.
Exactly.
Overwhelming at that point. By the way,
Not that this is terrible.
Well,
can I
it
go
is
rook E8
because-
now?
What?
Rook E8?
Bishop F3 is on
G4?
But,
G4.
I'm trying to get to your king as well.
okay,
H3.
H3 on the board.
That's also an indication that you're trying to get to my king as well. H3 on the board. Well, I gotta play G3. I don't want to see.
But you can play bishop F3 if you want to make that transfer. But somehow or other, I mean, it feels like bishop F3 doesn't threaten anything because of after E5, you got D5.
No, I don't want you. We're prying open my king. I think I would have played G3.
He played it.
Instantly.
He played it.
Well, Hikaru, less than 45 seconds on the clock.
Knight G2.
Knight
G2.
By the way,
Where's
bishop
it going?
E2 was a winning threat
Where's
if the
it
knight
going
had
with that
just
knight?
dropped back. So knight G2, rookie Hikaru barely hanging on, but guess what?
He is hanging on. He is hanging on.
King F2 in order to not bear the consequences of rook C1.
1 minute and 30 seconds for Wesley, 45 seconds for Hikaru. King to F2, I'm worried about rook to C6. I'm coming to take that pawn.
But I'm thinking I can put my bishop. I've been dreaming of putting my bishop on the long diagonal. So bishop back to B3, rook to C6, bishop to D5.
Oh, if you start with bishop B3, then it looks good for you, I think. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but is there any kind of naughties going
Naughties?
on the rook C1? Check.
Let's try it out. Bishop B3, rook C1, king F2.
King F2. Don't see it myself.
It's so difficult. Bishop B3 is on the board, guys.
Okay.
That's
This
Wesley.
This is the
using
most
time.
consequent move.
That's the money move
Right.
right there for Wesley.
And eyeballing that opportunity. See, the problem with rook C6, bishop to B3, queen takes B6, is you're opening up the B file against your own king.
And you would go rook queen to A1, defending the pawn on D4, threatening
Exactly.
rook to B2, and still
20
threatening.
seconds and
20
ticking down for
seconds.
Hikaru.
And
He throws in a check. Will he just move his
Was
rook
that
to
a-
C6?
Was that a spike check that he threw out there?
It's
And the
right.
clock, 10 seconds.
Rook B1.
Rook to B1.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so
Hikaru is
first
looking
of all,
for
there
some sort of
is
counter
this
chances.
nasty move, queen A2.
Wait, bishop
but
B5, queen takes B6?
more directly, he played it,
What?
What?
What is he doing?
trapping
Oh, he's
the
trapping the knight.
Holy smokes.
That actually traps the knight.
And did you see that? Hikaru
And he
did not
caught-
spot that.
And
He's-
but Wesley caught it immediately. I thought Wesley was playing for a mating attack.
That. Wait a minute.
What
is-
was
He wants to
F5?
go
Knight
knight to
F4.
F4.
Bishop H. Nobody believes you. Bishop, because
But you can
there's
just-
a passed pawn in the
Right,
position.
just push the pawn.
E5.
Get him going.
E5.
But why did he start with F5? Because he needed a bishop off
The square.
A to G8 diagonal, yes. Okay, knight to F4, but how easy is this? I do have that A pawn, which is very strong as well.
Why didn't he play E5?
I don't know.
Knight to F4, you have to take and then take on G5. No, king to G2.
Take on G5 or play F5?
I don't know.
F5.
This is going to go down the wire,
Make
guys.
them.
No,
Make them brothers.
take on G5. Pawns together stronger.
Yeah, we play F5.
Yeah, and you've got an H pawn that you just put your rook behind. Rook to H2, H5, and just push. Oh,
Some hesitation there, but
Because
serious hesitation.
the problem is that the rook is going to get behind the H pawn.
Exactly.
H5.
And you've got to use your A pawn as a decoy, but I think White's king.
are you
I
in
could
time
just-
to do that?
40 seconds. Now,
I don't think you're in time to do that. H6, keep going. Push him,
or
baby.
how? Rook G2 or H6? H6. This should be winning. Rook to G2. Rook G7, H6, H7. You win everything. Rook G2 wins everything.
Rook to G2.
Wesley taking his time. He plays
Wait a minute.
H7.
Okay, did he calculate it precisely? King to E6 or to E7?
Well, can he go towards the...
But can you create a decoy, like for instance,
Yeah,
step up
well,
with
Rook
the king?
H6. Rook H6, I think, is the... Oh,
H5, but now I go A5. No, A5 you take and you have Rook A7 check.
right,
Set
You
in the
cannot do
tricks.
that.
right.
But isn't the plan very simple? You step up with the king, you create
King E3, King D3. Keep the A pawn under control with the king. And, D5.
I think
What
this
a
is good
move.
enough, guys.
just, what's wrong with taking the A6 pawn?
Absolutely
good
nothing.
question.
Take the a6 pawn that wins the game on the spot.
And
Yep.
he finds it.
He does it.
That wins the game on the spot.
And
there it
handshake. Wesley So takes the first rapid game in the playoff.
Wow.